Morning. I hope all of you slept well, because I know I did. I slept like a rock. If rocks could sleep. But then again, I've never seen a rock awake, so maybe they're all asleep. Maybe we live in a world with sleeping rocks. Who knows? Trying to figure out how to position this phone on my helmet. We'll go with that. So, I am not sure what to talk about this morning, other than, man, y'all look at this view. Tell me that ain't beautiful. This is one of my favorite places to come to in my town. Some cool woods back there. Just for the view. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful out here, and the birds. I'm just glad all that dreary weather's gone, even though it was needed. Glad it's gone. It's kind of like anything else in life, I guess. You just go through it, and then it's over. It feels like it's the worst until it's not, until it's over with, and then you get to experience the beauty afterwards. And I found that to be true so much. You just got to be patient. Just got to be patient. And then it's over with, and you're done, and then life is good again. Or life feels good again. But it simply is what it is. So, how are you guys doing this morning? I hope everything's good in your world. And, man, feel free to comment and talk to me. I love it. It's my favorite part about YouTube lives is meeting people and talking to folks. But, now I was sitting there thinking this morning, I was talking to my wife about, I need another spot to sit. I don't really like this spot. Let's see if we can find one. Let me just put you guys on my bike. There we go. This is Haley, the motorcycle. I'm gonna have to sit here. Don't really have a choice. Um, where was I? What were we talking about? I don't know. How beautiful everything is this morning. And let me tell you, this morning is not disappointing at all. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, we were talking about dark times and temptations that me and my wife were this morning. And, I never like to give the devil any credit for anything that I do. And it says in James that you're only tempted to do things that you already want to do. And, I know folks that waste their time trying to cast out all this demonic oppression off of people, and, they run around chasing demons and binding this and loosing that. I mean, that's so wild to me. But think about this, though. Think about the mechanics of how all that works. If they only tempt you, if you're only tempted, so let's say this devil only tempts you to do what you already want to do, wouldn't seem logical that the best way to get rid of them is to address those issues? Because, in Christianity, a lot of Christians, I think they fail to realize the purpose of the enemy. The purpose of the enemy is the ultimate non-compliant aggressor. And, I've done an occult study for the last months. I don't even know how long. And one of the things they say in the occult, different people say in the occult, they really all say the same thing: as it is above, so it is below. But think about the mechanics behind what's going on. If there really is this demonic force that's Well, simply this: if I'm going to fight and I want to know whether or not what I'm doing works, then I need to go up against somebody in real time who is not going to let me just do something. I did fencing for a while before my fencing partner moved off, and the type of fencing we did was German longsword. And man, I would go in my backyard, and Alan, man, he was so much faster. He was so much fun to fight with. He was so much faster than me. He was so much faster. He was a lot fitter. The dude's a beanpole. He's taller. He's faster. He's fitter. And to me, challenge accepted. I loved it so much. And there was times he'd be patient with me because man, our fitness levels were so different. I'm a big guy, and it's hard to make a big guy move fast. Um, and so for me to get points on him, I had to be really creative. And he never, ever, ever let up on me. He never let me win because that's just an insult. Just to be truth, that's an insult. I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, you millennials, you love your participation awards." Yeah, no, no, you can stuff that opinion somewhere ugly. Um, no, no, that's a minority. But anyway, we'd be in the ring, and we'd fight, and most of the time he scored the points because he was just so much faster than I am. But so I had to be really creative, and I had to anticipate his moves. I had to anticipate his speed and learn how to work around that to score points. And you know that to me is a great metaphor for life. If there's this spiritual enemy who is the ultimate non-compliant aggressor, then they've been around a lot longer than I have. They know more than I do, and I have to be on my A game in order to score a point on this enemy. I have to be on my A game to be able to score an attack, and so I need to know what the enemy does, and it's real simple. It's laid out in the book of James. The enemy tempts you to do things that you already want to do. Boom. That's all the information you need. That's what you need to be the ultimate non-compliant aggressor towards your enemy. So if you're only tempted to do what you don't already want to, if you're only tempted to do what you already don't want to do, excuse me, I'm having trouble speaking, then what you need to do is address the fact that you want to do those things. And it's funny how when you take personal responsibility, all of a sudden the enemy's work in your life seems all but non-existent. I mean, you still see it, but holy smokes, it's me. It's me. I'm tempted to do those things because I want to do those things. And when I take personal responsibility for my actions, holy smoke, that's a game changer. That's a game changer. I remember this one move me and Alan were doing. I'll never forget it because this is when this metaphor hit me. He like I said, he's a lot taller than me, longer arm stretch. And my friend Toby was doing this thing called string the bow, where he would stretch out one hand, stretch out, take a risk, and get extra length. And I practiced that. And because that's what you got to do in life. You got to practice. So when you're in the ring of spiritual combat, you'll be able to be effective. And you fight bloody mad. You fight like it's the end of your life when you're in spiritual combat. And really, you're in spiritual combat with yourself, more with yourself than the enemy. And so we're fighting, and he goes to, and I was waiting for him to do it. He had this signature move where he would boop right in the face with the tip of his sword, and I was waiting for it. And so when he went to go boop, I stepped back, strung the bow. German longsword's two-handed, so I stretched out my arms, and got him right in the chest. Not only did I get him in the chest, but I got him right between his protective padding, and we think we might have cracked his ribs because he was in a lot of pain for the next couple days. No, it was a while. It took him a while to get over that. And I felt horrible. God knows I don't want to hurt my fencing partner. But man, it's just a good show around. And you know what happens spiritually when you're in the ring? When you're in the ring with your enemy, and you're in the ring with the enemy within. You know, let's look at the mechanics of it. Let's look at the mechanics of how it works. What's happening? You've got two people. You can think of two people living in your head: your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. Your conscious you, the part of you that you're consciously aware of, and the unconscious you, the part of you that you're not. You can be aware of this. You can be very well aware of this, but you have to be willing to soul search and learn yourself. And so, the part of you that drives you to do things in your unconscious mind is really more emotionally driven than your conscious mind is. That part of you is part of you that pushes you to do things that you consciously don't want to do. And when you're aware of that mechanism, you can begin to discipline yourself. This is why in Proverbs Solomon was saying discipline, 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 discipline. Man, why the Christian church doesn't study more in Proverbs, I have no idea. I feel like that's one of the first books you should read when you come into the Christian faith is Proverbs. It'll change your life. You literally can take that book and live your life by its teachings, and you will live a good life. You will be able to enjoy your life to the fullest. I know, because my dad stressed that to me. He's like, man, wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. Read Proverbs. Not only did he stress it to me, but when I was a kid, he used it as a punishment. It was great. He would make me write Proverbs when I would misbehave, and so I have a I have a deep connection with that book. But it's a good thing. It's all work. I don't recommend using the Bible to punish your kids, but whatever. It's my life, my story. I was the firstborn, so I'm the one my parents screwed up. So I love them. They're great. They're great. They did a good job, I think. But yeah, wisdom and understanding, man. That's what you should chase after. Wisdom and discipline. Discipline. I used to hate that word. I used to hate that word because discipline a lot of times means I don't get to do what I want to do. Discipline a lot of times means I don't get to do what feels fun or feels right. You know, you gotta weigh out the consequences of your actions. Undisciplined is what's fun, man. I get to go and do whatever I feel like doing, and with no care to the consequences, except it doesn't matter if you care about the consequences or not, they're coming. There's consequences to every action. And so going back to the enemy, really the enemy within, because as it is above, so it is below. Let's deal with the above. Let's deal with the above. The more I deal with the enemy within, the more I discipline this emotional mind, this subconscious emotional mind. Whenever I feel that impulse to do something wrong, that I know is wrong, and by wrong I mean destructive, feels good in a moment, but with serious destructive consequences. It's time to no, 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 and practice that. Practice, practice, practice. And just like in the ring where you're fighting, you know, you don't there's no way to truly prepare for a non-compliant aggressor, because you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know how they're going to come after you. You don't know how they're going to hit you. You don't actually know what's going to happen. But if you know your opponent, then you can practice what you think your opponent's going to do. You can anticipate what you think your opponent's going to do and prepare for it. Just like I know Alan was going to take advantage of the fact that he has longer arms than me and get that strike right in the face like he always did, because me and him went toe to toe almost every day. I was able to anticipate that and get him. A little too well, but I still got him. There was another situation we got into. I'll say this and we'll wrap up soon. There's another situation we got into. Man, I just knew this move was going to get him. I knew it. I knew he was going to be ready for it, and I knew I was going to win. So the thing was, I wanted to be able to catch his sword during a lunge, because again, he loved going going for them lunge moves. I wanted to be able to catch it with the fuller and the cross guard and take control of his weapon while simultaneously juking him in the face. And practice, it worked. I had this bicycle stand, I still got it. Had this bicycle stand that I used to put different weapons in to practice. I'd set them up different ways to be able to anticipate different positions to be able to practice this. And I've got this big old caution barrel that I hang up, and that's the striking target. Caution barrels make really good striking targets for German longsword, by the way. You can even go after them with a real sword, and they're so stinking tough. Unless you stab them, they're pretty much unharmed. You'll get little cuts in them, but whatever. But anyway, practice this, and on paper it worked. It worked really well on paper. But there and again, I'm going up against a compliant aggressor. It's a stick, it's a bicycle stand, it's a caution barrel. These things don't actually fight back. And you have to use pretend to make them fight back. So when I got in the ring with Alan, like, I'm stoked, I'm pumped, I'm real confident, really overly confident that I knew what I was going to do was going to work, except it didn't. It failed epically. Every time I tried this particular move, man, not only was it almost impossible to actually catch his sword, but unless I told him what to do, it wouldn't work. That's the beauty of a non-compliant aggressor. They're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do exactly what they know works. They're going to go up against you as hard as they possibly can because they want to win. And so what you find is, one, you'll find out real quick whether a move works or not. Two, you'll find out where your weaknesses are. Now, if I would have never gone up against Alan and just trained by myself, I would have been real cocky about moves that didn't work, may or may not have worked. And a lot of people are like that. I see. What's up, Prethish? That's a cool name. Prethish. That's the way a lot of people are, man. They get cocky about, they think they can fight. They think they can do what they have never practiced. They haven't gone up against non-compliant aggressors. And the people that I meet that actually can fight, that are actually really good at combat-based sports, they don't brag. Man, if I see 10 guys and 3 of them are talking about, if I see 10 guys and 9 of them talk about how they can knock the head off your shoulders, and then there's one that stays quiet, that one is the real threat because he ain't got nothing to prove. And so the beauty of that non-compliant aggressor is that he's going to show you what works and he's going to show you what doesn't work. He's going to show you where you're strong and he's going to show you where you're weak, because he's going to do everything he can to go up against you. This is why spiritually we have a non-compliant aggressor. This is why spiritually we have that non-compliant aggressor to push us and push us and push us and fight us and fight us and fight us. Because ultimately, you got to be broke down in order to build back up. The more our soul, our body, everything about us is designed to be stressed, designed to be pushed, designed to be broken. And this is so that when it's also designed to build up stronger. So when you come to this place spiritually where you're broke down and you're broke down and you're broke down, you know, don't take it personally like it's a cut against your character. It doesn't define your self-worth if you make mistakes. What the heck was that? It doesn't define your self-worth if you make mistakes. What does devalue you is if you don't learn from it. And it only devalues you because you don't get to experience life, what life would be like at your potential. You'll never get to experience your potential if you constantly run away from that non-compliant aggressor. But when you get in the ring and you look that joker in his eyes, man, that's when you start to grow. That's when you start to grow. When you experience temptation and you say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And I'm going to do everything in my power to fight against this. Because, you got that enemy within. And you train and you discipline and you train and you discipline and you train and you discipline and you train and you discipline. You put things in place. Like, all right, if I know this is my natural proclivity to do this particular type of wrong. All right, well, I need to set things in place and I need to guard up against that. And guess what you do? You become stronger. You become more efficient. You become a better fighter. You become a better combatant. And then when you are faced with that aggressor, guess what you could do? You walk away victorious. Plain and simple, hands down, you walk away victorious. And I think my phone's about to go, so I'm going to go ahead and end there. I wish this thing wouldn't auto dark like that. I can't even see what's happening. This thing. See if we can turn the light back up so I can see y'all. Why phones think they need to be smarter than us, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end there. That's 20 minutes. Let's do this. Man, I love you guys, and I hope you all have a blessed day. And remember that you're not a mistake, you're not stupid, you're not worthless, and the better world is a better place with you in it. And I mean that with everything in me. I mean that. I live that. When I feel like the world would be a better place without me, there's my non-compliant aggressor. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with those lies. Because all I have to do is improve myself, and now I've made the world an even better place. And so, love you guys. Celebrate No Shave November and see what happens at the end of the month. I'm curious to see if any of this will actually grow into what might resemble a real beard. So far, genetics are not on my side here. Anyway, love you guys. Man, y'all take it easy. And I got to go charge my phone. Later.